Hello and welcome. My name is Milos, and today I will show you how we at Norahs managed to increase our early retention by up to 35% only by using push notifications. So first off, I would like to tell you a few words about Norahs. We are an award-winning gaming company. We were founded in 2010 by 3 people, and right now we have over 150 people working across Europe in our offices in London, Dublin, and Belgrade. We are the proud creators of Top 11. So I'm just wondering, how many of you here play or played Top 11? Great. So for those of you who didn't play, Top 11 is an online football manager game. It is our flagship product. We have about 130 plus million registered users so far. It is played in every country in the world, and it is 5 years old, soon to be 6 in May. As for me, I'm a data scientist, and I was part of the team that pioneered push notifications in Top 11. So let's talk about push notifications. They are the delivery of information from a software application to a client device without the specific request from the client. So I'm sure all of you know that. So let's talk about the good sides of push notifications. Well, we know that we don't have a limit, we don't have any CTR requirements, and push notifications are not platform dependent, right? So what about the bad sides? Raise your hand if you have ever deleted an application because it spammed you too much. Yeah, so a lot of you raise your hand, and of course we don't like to be spammed, and we don't like spammers, and we delete them. So today I will tell you how to fully utilize the good sides of push notifications, and while minimizing the risk of spamming your users. So today I will concentrate on the criteria for sending push notification and on deciding what should be and what should not be a push notification. I will tell you how we create the content for our messages, how we personalize them, and how we optimize them. And in the end, I will tell you how we measure our results, and I will show you some of our results. So let's get started. So when we realized we wanted to send push notifications, we started from a list of our local notifications. We refer them to as local notifications, and they're just really notifications scheduled by your game on the client device. And you can't really, once it's scheduled, you can't really change it. And that's fine, but it's not dynamic. So what we wanted to do is we started from there, and we then just thought about, okay, how can we improve this notification? How can we add value or more information to the notification? So I'll give you an example. Top 11 had a local notification that informed you that your match is about to start in 15 minutes. So what we did is we added more data to the notification, and now it tells you if you have perhaps an injured player in your squad or a red card player in your squad. So we just we put more value, and as a result, our click-through rate's gone up for this notification. So really, these types of, we call them service notifications, or notifications that inform the user of something that he will usually see the next time he logs onto the game, are the notifications that work the best. So for example, our best notification in terms of click-through rate is a notification that informs the user that an offer he placed on a player has been accepted. And the second best is the notification informing the user that the offer has been rejected. So really, those types of notifications are really the notifications that you should try to send. If you're not really sure about how will your user respond, you can always test it on some small cohorts of your users, or if you have some different platforms for, let's say, for example, Facebook, you can just send some notifications there and see how your users respond. Okay, so now that we know what is the criteria, let's see how we should construct like the content of the messages we send. First thing that you should do is you should try to personalize as much as possible. Users like to be referred to by their first name, last name, nickname, or really any custom content or custom name that they put into your game. It just makes them feel more, they like it more. And of course, your click rates will go up just because of that. But one key thing that you should do that is like really important, and if you're gonna take like one thing from my presentation today and implement it back home, is that you should try to differentiate your user base as much as possible. And try to find like certain groups of your users and then custom tailor these notifications for them. Why? Well, not all of your users will respond the same to a certain type of notification. Some will respond better, some will respond worse. So really the trick is to find that perfect match. And you can use, you can do this in multiple ways. Like one way to do it is just to clusterize your user base based on their activity or monetization, or really any other attribute that is like important for your game. So for example, if I clusterize my user base in top 11, I find casual players and hardcore players and any other type of players in between. So I know that I should probably not send a sort of hardcore message to a casual player because it will just scare him. What's important? You can try to find user affiliation to a certain feature and then use it for your clusterization. A few months back, we wanted to improve our day one retention. So we decided to start a campaign where we, on day 0, or on day that the users registered, we monitored their activity and we saw which features they use the most. And then on day 1, we sent them push notifications about those features. And the notification just like explained the features in more depth. And we had like huge success with this campaign, and we managed to improve day 1 retention for those groups of people by 40%. So that is really like something that you should try to do. And if you want to have even more complex messages, you can just try to find which sort of emotions your features trigger in users. So your features can trigger like enthusiasm, joy, respect, or even fear, depending on your game. And then once you know which users play the most of those features, then you can construct your messages to trigger those emotions within your users. And that will make them engage the notifications more, and your click-through rates will go up. Okay, so now that we know how to construct the message content itself, the next thing you would want to do is to test and measure your results. What we found works the best is if you want to find like what are the best messages in your campaign, or just like top K messages, then you measure for click-through rates. If not, if you just want to see if your campaign has been a success, we have sort of retention-like metric where we think the user is retained if at any point in time from the point he receives the notification until the point that the day is over, he logs into the game, he is considered as retained. If not, then he is not retained. One thing that you should be careful here is when you have personalized messages. And sometimes you will not be able to recognize if your users are clicking the notification because of the personalized message or just because of the information you pass them. So when that happens, you can be stuck. So what you should do is when you test with personalized messages, you should make sort of an ABC test where you have a control group, a baseline group that has an unpersonalized message, and a test group that has a personalized message. And both the unpersonalized and the personalized message tell the user the same thing. essentially. So that way you can really know why are they clicking. Okay, so I hope you've been following because now I will show you our results. Okay, so what you see before you is our day one retention. And the vertical line you see is the point in time when we started to like experiment with all sorts of personalized notifications. So like from when we started, our retention numbers go up, then we sort of stabilized, and in November last year, we again had a boost. So day one retention, we have managed to improve it by 15%. This is our day three retention, and we managed to improve our day three retention by 23%. Our day 7 retention looks sort of the same, and we can manage to improve our day 7 retention by 35%. Now, I know some of you might be wondering why our day 7 retention improvement is so much bigger than on day 1. Well, we simply have more data for our users, and then we can just create better messages for them. Okay. Some of you probably have all of this in your companies, so I wanted to cover something that's like beyond push notifications, like something that you might do when you've done all of this. And it's very fun. Google and Apple will sometimes, not sometimes, they will send you a response when you try to send a push notification to a user who has deleted your game. So what's cool is if you have daily notifications, you can use this as a sort of performance metric. So for example, when you publish an update for your game, and then you see like a bunch of users start deleting the application, that means something is wrong. It's the same thing with the message. If you send a new message, and then you see like your users that started deleting your game, again, the message is wrong. But the most fun part is, of course, coming from a data scientist, is that you can use this data and try to predict when a user will delete your game. And this, of course, gives you a small window of opportunity which you can use to try and retain the user. It is similar to churn prediction, but not really the same. It's slightly different. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we saw today. So when you're having a criteria for sending push notifications and deciding what should be and what should not be a push notification, just really try to think, how can I bring value to my user? How can I tell him something new? When it comes to message content creation, really just try to differentiate your user base as much as possible. And then you will be able to construct better messages. Measuring results, it's pretty simple, but just be careful when you have personalized messages, because you need to be, to measure it correctly, or you will not have an answer to why are your users clicking the notification. And really, really listen to your users when you start sending these personalized messages, because they will respond and they will tell you, that is nice, can you please do this, can you please do that, can you please do not send me this, and just listen to their feedback and try to implement it. Because at the end of the day, the users that play your game really matter the most. I would like to finish this presentation with an announcement and a story. You will need a system that you build or buy in order to send all this stuff. And we at Norahs, we decided to build something that's really cool. So like a year and a half ago, we built a centralized messaging service that's running on our Hadoop cluster, and it's programmed in Apache Spark. And it gave us all sorts of good options. We have on-time delivery, we have real-time notifications, we're scalable, so we can do a lot of things. But what we've noticed is that when it comes to the time that passes when our game developers or game designers want to put in a new notification, because it has to go through the team that controls this messaging service, the time is just too big, and a lot of time passes, and we don't want that. We wanted to make something for our game designers that will allow them to iterate much faster and to create more and more service notifications, because we recognized that our users really love that. So we built a lightweight framework that we distribute on all of our servers. And these lightweight frameworks talk to our game servers and are able to send notifications. So now when our game developers want to do something, they just change a small piece of code on the game server, and then our lightweight service takes care of the rest. And in the light of that and recent changes with parse that Facebook announced, I will like to present to you our open source project. It is called Pushkin. Pushkin is a lightweight framework for sending push notifications, like I just said. It is written in Python. It has really easy to use API. It is multi-platform. It supports Google and Apple and Facebook and really everyone that you want to send stuff to. It is very scalable. It is capable of sending 500 notifications per second per instance. So you can just boot up 3 instances and you'll send 1,500 notifications per second. So if you go to our website, pushkin.io, you will see a subscribe button where you can leave us your email. It is not released yet, but we will release it in 2 to 3 weeks. Our end goal is end of February or beginning of March. So I would like to thank you all for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them now. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. It was nice. A question in regards to the day one retention. Did you consider your creatives as a part of that?
Did I consider, sorry, what? I didn't
the
hear
creatives, because the day one retention is, you might get confused about when the user downloads your app and gets something completely different, and then the retention goes. So the user has an expectation when they download the app, and day one retention is like, well, they didn't meet that expectation.
Yeah, of course, we took that in consideration. We, of course, tested it properly, and these numbers are just a result. What we wanted to capture is we wanted to just tell our users, so what you saw on your day 0, you can get a lot more of that. And if they like it, they will continue. If they not, they won't. So it's really, just we wanted to emphasize their experience with push notifications.
Makes sense, but the relationship between you showed your curve as a percentage or an index, and I don't really know if it's from 10 to 11% or it's from 30 to 36% the retention rates for day one. So if I would to look at it, I would also look at the creatives, but I'm not unsure if when to do what.
Yeah, well, I couldn't really show you the exact number, of course, so I had to do something like that. So yeah, that's what. Sorry.
Hey, you were talking about spamming and sending too many push notifications. Do you have a guideline for a good pacing? And also, do you watch how people respond to push, the click-through rate, and then kind of gauge their tolerance for push notifications and pace people differently dynamically?
Well, yeah, we monitor their click-through rates. So if we have someone who is a hardcore gamer and he clicks every time, we then tend to send him more stuff. If we see someone who doesn't really click, but they're still there, then we are sort of, okay, we don't want to annoy them, and we just leave them alone. Of course, we send them some critical stuff, like when their match is about to start, but nothing really else.
Hi, thank you for a good presentation. Hi. I'd like to ask about the amount of push notifications you send out. As people are blocking more and more push notifications when they install the app, have you seen an increase or a decrease in push notifications sent compared to a DAU?
Increase. We try to send again, we normally send like 3 to 4 push notifications a day, depending on user activity. And if they're active more, we will send more. So it's like the graph for our sending looks sort of like this for now.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
When you talk about personalization, personalizing messages, how intimate is the personalization? I mean, what is the level of your knowledge with the user, and what can you send them in a personalized message? What is the right thing to send in a personalized message compared to a generic message?
Okay, so normally, because you don't have a lot of space, of course, when you send the message, we tend to like just state the name of their club, or if they like play something for some player and like their player is hurt, or we just name that player. Apart from that, not really. I don't think that you should be more intrusive than that, even if you can. Just their first name or their club name or their player name, and that's it. Not anything else.
All right then. Thank you
Cool.
again, Milos.
Thank you.